This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on cabinet decisions. The participants are Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Aditi Tandon, journalist.
The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, today took several important decisions, including rupees 12,000 crore production-linked incentive scheme for telecom equipment manufacturers. And also another important move of the Union Cabinet today is related to major and massive amendments to the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act of 2015. with an aim to increase the role of district magistrates and additional district magistrates in the monitoring of child care institutions across the country. Mr. Tandon, the issue of production-linked incentive scheme is very important considering India is on the cusp of 5G network revolution. And there is this whole Atmanirbhar Bharat push that's going on. And we also know that previously there was a similar PLI scheme for telecom sector, and which made India the second largest producer of mobile phones after China. How do you look at the PLI for the equipment manufacturers?
The cabinet decision to approve a production-linked incentive scheme worth more than 12,000 crore for telecom equipment manufacturing sector. Many people may not be knowing that there are 50,000 crore worth of import of the telecom equipment. India imports 50,000 crore worth of equipment. Now, it is basically the decision today is to reinforce the made in India products, both for domestic markets as well as for exports. So this is a very significant decision, a very landmark decision. And through this, the government expects that the scheme will lead to a 2.4 trillion incremental production of telecom equipment in the country in the next 5 years. And it will bring an investment of more than 3,000 crore. And it is bound to generate direct and indirect employment. A large segment of the employment opportunities will be coming. And this is also will certainly is a boost to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India, and to make India a global hub of telecom equipment manufacturing, including for next generation 5G technology.
Mr. Tandon, the incentive structure as explained by Telecom Minister Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad today ranges between 4 and 7% for different categories and over different years. And he has also said that financial year 2019-2020 will be treated as the base year for the computation of cumulative incremental sales of manufactured goods net of taxes. So how do you look at this particular incentive scheme with respect to the medium, small and micro enterprises in the country? Because money has also been set aside for this sector, and the minister said that the scheme also includes a major boost to MSMEs.
Certainly, in continuation of Atmanirbhar Bharat, strategies for enhancing India's manufacturing capabilities and enhancing exports. Now, this scheme is a part of an umbrella scheme which was approved by the Cabinet in November 2020 for implementation of the production-linked incentive under various ministries, departments, including Department of Telecom. Now, there will be a minimum investment threshold of rupees 10 crore for MSME with incentives from 7% to 4%. And rupee 1 crore for others with incentives from 6% to 4% over 5 years above base year. So the applicants now with higher incentives than specified threshold under MSME and non-MSME categories will be selected through transparent process. So what the government is trying to say with this scheme, India will be well positioned as a global hub for manufacturing of telecom and networking products. Incremental production, of course, around rupees 2 lakh crore is expected to be achieved over 5 years, and India will certainly improve its competitiveness in manufacturing with increased value addition. And this is, of course, in the context of how the Chinese goods are being supplied throughout the world. So it is expected that the scheme will bring more than 3,000 crore investment, and India will move towards self-reliance by incentivizing large-scale manufacturing in India. Domestic value addition will increase gradually. Provision for higher incentive to MSME will encourage domestic telecom manufacturers to become part of the global supply chain.
Under the PLI scheme, Mr. Tandon, which has been announced, it has been said that the investor will be incentivized up to 20 times of the minimum investment threshold, enabling them to utilize their unused capacity so far. So, which all sectors do you think will gain from it? What kind of equipment manufacturers will gain from this? What is the range of products included?
First of all, we should not forget that telecom manufacturing to reach a global scale. And India has launched the scheme which we have approved today, the PLI, and it will definitely make India a global hub of telecom manufacturing and exports from India. This is what has been the aim of the Modi government and also a step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, coming to your point, and these particularly, if I may quote the telecom minister, Mr. Ravi Shankar, who briefed the press today, that electronic sector particularly, this is going to get a big boost. And once this sector gets a big boost, and then we know that what happens is that Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India will also become a flagship, basically, strategy of the government to make India a global hub. And also, for next generation 5G technology will also be now not only produced in India, but also exported from India. So that has been the thrust of this particular decision.
So as you explained quite comprehensively that this is not only going to make India self-reliant, perhaps by the next 5 years, India will also have some export potential, turning around the sector as we saw during the COVID times. We did not have any capacity to manufacture test kits or to manufacture personal protective equipment, but today we are exporting all of that. So coming to the second issue today in the cabinet, Mr. Tandon, which is extremely significant, considering the issue of children and the issue of child welfare has been center stage for all governments, and everybody in their own ways have tried to strengthen the Juvenile Justice Act to ensure that children in need of care and protection are taken care of. So today the Juvenile Justice Act amendment has been made with a very peculiar and a very significant aim in mind. It has been seen, Mr. Tandon, that childcare institutions lack scrutiny. They just set up institutions and then there is lack of monitoring where the children come from, where the children go. There is no record of their entry into the CCIs. Sometimes when they die, there's no record of their death. A lot of children go missing in India. How do you see this particular amendment? Because the idea is to have scrutiny on childcare institutions.
It was a proposal of the Ministry of Women and Child Development that there should be amendment to the Juvenile Justice Act. And accordingly, the Cabinet today approved it. And the amendment to the Juvenile Justice, which is basically Care and Protection of Children Act 2015, this amendment will include authorizing district magistrates, including additional district magistrate, to issue adoption orders under Section 61 of the JJ Act in order to ensure speedy disposal of cases and enhance accountability. That is very significant thing. So the district magistrates have been further empowered under the Act to ensure its smooth implementation as well as garner synergized efforts in favor of children in distress condition, as you very rightly said. So defining eligibility parameters for appointment of CWC members and categorizing previously underdefined offences as serious offences. Earlier they were underdefined offences, are now as serious offences, are some of the other very important aspects of the proposal which has been approved, and several difficulties faced in implementation of various provisions of Act have also been addressed and taken care of. So obviously, safety and security of the children will be very paramount as far as this government is concerned.
Right. An important amendment provision also includes that earlier when the child care institution was to be set up, they just needed to tell the state government of their intention and they would be given permission to set up. Now, under the proposed changes to the Act, it has been stated that the district magistrate will conduct the ground checks before any such child care institution comes up, and only after a background check and after the DM's report to the state government will any such institution actually come up. Because you remember there have been a range of cases in the past, including in Bihar, where girls were sexually assaulted in a child shelter home, and there have been n number of cases in Haryana, Apna Ghar. The list is endless, really.
Certainly, it's one of those welfare measures, aimed at emancipation of women and children and taking full care of their health and protection. I think there is another very significant decision of the cabinet, and that is comprehensive economic cooperation and partnership agreement between India and Mauritius. And the kind of relations India enjoys with Mauritius. So this partnership agreement is very significant. The kind of bond we have in that context, the agreement is very significant, and it provides for an institutional mechanism to encourage and improve trade between the two countries. And it will cover about 310 export items for India, including foodstuff and beverages, agriculture products, textiles and textile articles, base metals and articles, electricals and electronic items, plastics and chemicals, wood and other articles. And similarly, Mauritius will benefit from preferential market access into India for its 615 products, including frozen fish, very kind of special sugar, biscuits, fresh fruits, juices, mineral water, beer, alcoholic drinks, soaps, bags, medical and surgical equipment and apparel. So I think if you look at this agreement, see the trade in services, Indian service providers will have access to around 115 sub-sectors from the 11 broad service sectors such as professional services, computer-related services, research and development and other business services, telecommunication, financial, tourism and travel-related, and of course, transport services. So India has offered around 95 sub-sectors from the 11 broad service sectors, including professional services, R&D and other business services, telecommunication, etc. So both sides have agreed to negotiate the automatic trigger safeguard mechanism for a limited number of highly sensitive products within 2 years of the signing of this agreement. So I think this also is very significant considering the kind of friendly and cultural and historic cultural bond which India enjoys with Mauritius. So therefore, this is very significant.
Right. And also, Mr. Tandon, the bilateral trade between India and Mauritius had in fact reduced in 2019 and 2020 to $690 million from $1.2 billion in the previous year. So I think there is this free trade pact now between the two countries, and as you rightly mentioned, a preferential access to Indian markets for a lot of Mauritian goods. And as we know that India exports a lot of petroleum products, pharmaceuticals and cereals to this country. And the island nations' exports to New Delhi mainly include iron and steel. So as you said, this is going to further bolster the bilateral partnership. Looking at the agreement, what do you think the trade will be improved by this agreement? Is there any estimation to what kind of a boost is expected by the next year?
See, Mauritius is an important development partner of India. India had extended a special economic package of $353 million to Mauritius in 2016. So the new Supreme Court building project is one of the 5 projects being implemented under the package and was jointly inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister of Mauritius, Jagannath, in July 2020. And in October 2019, Prime Minister Modi and PM of Mauritius had jointly inaugurated the phase 1 of the Metro Express project and 100-bed state-of-the-art ENT hospital project in Mauritius. And this is also being built under the special economic package. So if you look back, since 2005, India has been among the largest trading partners of Mauritius and has been one of the largest exporters of goods and services to Mauritius. According to the International Trade Center, in 2019, the main import partner of Mauritius were India. That accounts for roughly 14%. So that speaks volume of the importance of this particular agreement signed today. The cabinet approval given to signing of the agreement.
Right, and we also must remember that Mauritius was the second top source of FDIs into India in 2019-2020. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion, Cabinet Decisions. The participants were Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Aditi Tandon, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on a mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our website, newsonair.com. You may email opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.